Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to another video I'm bringing you today on WWE. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about whether or not I feel, and my guest feels, that Sheamus should be WWE Champion right now, and who maybe our alternatives to Sheamus would be. But before we get into this, let me introduce my special guest on this video, and his name is...
What's going on, everybody? It's Thundershot.
Yeah, so today, basically, we're going to be talking about Sheamus as WWE Champion, and I'm sure that, along with us, many people groaned in unison the second they saw Sheamus come down with that Money in the Bank and take that title away from Roman Reigns, just because of it's Sheamus. I mean, come on, let's be honest. He's so boring and bland, and I like him still because I like boring and bland things sometimes, but, like, man, he really shouldn't be that champion, in my opinion. Let's hear what Thundershot has to say about that.
I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I feel like Sheamus should be... I would be fine with Sheamus more around, like, one of the mid-card titles, like Intercontinental or US title. I feel like he could bring something to that, but all the way up at the top of the card where the WWE Championship is... That's really rough. That's I don't know. It brings a lot down. There's a reason the Raw the very next night after Sheamus won the title had like its lowest rating / viewership in like 13 years or something, was it? I don't know.
Yeah,
the news came out on that and Raw bombed the night after Sheamus got champion. Now, I know a lot of people who are happy about Sheamus being champion aren't really happy that Sheamus is champion. They're just happy Roman isn't. I'm just going to say this before the video really gets underway. I am an absolute fanboy of Roman Reigns. I like him, but I'm going to do everything I can in this video to come at it from the perspective of someone who doesn't like Roman Reigns, because I know there's a few people like that out there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's, I don't know, like, Sheamus, no, I can understand not liking Roman, but Sheamus is just, I don't know how you can be on board with that.
I really don't know because, like, I mean, there was so many more options. Like, for example, Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer, he went down the line. He had 10 people that he could have said should be WWE Champion instead of Sheamus, who would be a much better pick. It's just like, Sheamus has had chances numerous times now as WWE Champion. He had the belt. Like, he came in and they gave him the belt, like, he beat John Cena in, like, his rookie year, you know what I mean? Like, after he came into Raw from ECW. Like, he has been pushed time and time again, but then, like, he just didn't really get over, like, especially when he was on SmackDown, like, the ratings, he just didn't draw any money. And then, like, they killed him. Like, for example, Triple H beat him clean at WrestleMania. And then they gave him this really stupid gimmick with the King of the Ring where he came down wearing, like, the Loki horns, which I think look cool, but, like, it just did not work for him.
King of the Ring has killed everyone, like, the last 18 times they've done it.
Like, the only two people I can remember who, like, were, like, hugely successful after winning King of the Ring, were Stone Cold Steve Austin and Brock Lesnar, because neither of them put the stupid King outfit on. They just, like, you know, used it as an example of how badass they were and how much ass they could kick. But, like, now they're going to give Sheamus, who is just, like, done, and he's been the mid-card, like, dwindling for so long, the title. It makes no sense to me. But, I mean, speaking of people who really we think should be champion other than Sheamus, because I think that we've already essentially said we don't think he should be champion just because, you know, various reasons. Who do you think are some really good picks other than Sheamus to be champion? And even if, say, you know, the pick that I feel like you're going to pick wouldn't be the champion, who do you think other than him after you're going to say him?
All right, so here I go. Obviously, I'm going to look at immediately champion, like people who could be champion right now, could have been champion at Survivor Series, and I would have been okay with. And then I'm going to kind of drift off to people who could be champion, or I think maybe should be champion in the future if they get the right push and if they play their cards right. So immediately, we're looking right at Roman and Dean. Those were the guys in the number one contender, or in the fight for the championship themselves, going back and forth at it. Roman was the clear victor there because he was supposed to face, not the clear victor, the clear favorite there because he was supposed to face Seth Rollins, and then Rollins got injured, and they threw this tournament idea thinking that it was going to surprise people and Roman wasn't going to have a chance to at least get to the finals, but whatever. But Roman versus Ambrose, I honestly think that Sheamus was the number one absolute worst way they could have gone. If they would have had Roman beat Dean clean, and like he did, but keep the title and or beat Sheamus after he cashes in the Money in the Bank, I think that would have been a better outcome. If they would have had Dean beat Roman clean, it would have absolutely murdered Roman's momentum, and I wouldn't have been a fan of that. However, Dean being a champion would have been hype as fuck. If you don't like Roman, I feel like Dean winning the title there was absolutely the best choice. Yeah. If Roman turns heel and wins the championship, if Roman turns heel and Dean wins the championship, if Dean turns heel and he wins the championship, or Dean turns heel and Roman's wins the championship, any way that you mix it up If Roman or if Roman or Dean walked out to the champion that night, I am 1,000 times happier than I am with Sheamus winning the title. Now, with Sheamus winning the title, Roman kind of keeps some momentum, sort of, because it was BS and Money in the Bank, but it kills so much for me. Going down the line, I'm looking at who else was in the tournament, and honestly, Kevin Owens, and you were talking a little bit, I'll let you take the reins on that one, but you were talking a little bit about it before we started the video. Alberto Del Rio are about the only two people there. Some people would say Ziggler, I would argue that, but are about the only two people who I could feel maybe Owens is a maybe. Be champion right now without any kind of push, and it would still work for the WWE. There are a lot of guys with potential on there. Mainly, we're looking at Cesaro. Dolph Ziggler could get back into it. There's a couple more guys. Ryback, maybe, if the right circumstances. But for the most part, Alberto Del Rio or maybe Kevin Owens immediately. But then, like I said, the other guys, if they got a push later on, would make some sense. But there's not a whole lot of people who can contend for championship right now, considering Rollins is out. We hate him, but John Cena is gone at the moment. I don't know. Just what do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you, first off, about you saying that it was the worst possible ending, because, like, I thought that, too. Like, right before Survivor Series started, I was like, WWE keeps ending all their pay-per-views in, like, the worst way, except for the last pay-per-view. Like, they just keep doing the worst possible pick, so I said, the worst possible pick in this situation is Sheamus walking out after cashing the Money in the Bank as the champion, and I've said, okay, WWE is going to pick that one, and I hoped all night long, please do not let that happen. I really don't want it to happen. But then, Roman won clean. I was like, fuck, he's going to come out and he's going to win that belt. And yeah, like, I think Ambrose would have been great, like, if he turned heel, like, because at least he benefits. Like, that's the thing. Anyone other than Sheamus would benefit being the champion. Sheamus just isn't going to get over. He's like a screen door. He doesn't retain heat. You know what I mean? So, like, Del Rio came in, he beat John Cena clean, like, with tons of momentum. Everyone was behind him. Like, they're still cheering him despite the fact that they made him a heel for no reason. And, like, if he came in and he won the WWE Championship on top of the United States Championship, that would be huge. Like, everyone would immediately buy it, too, because not only has he been champion before... What do you say?
Oh, I was going to say, imagine Del Rio beating Roman clean or with interference from the Authority or whatnot, and then Del Rio, going on to win the title. Just how huge that would be. He would be the first guy since Seth, who was the first guy ever to be world champion and United States champion at the same time. But anyway, sorry.
I mean, if we're not going back and counting Goldberg, even though they try and use the World Heavyweight Championship, WCW Championship lineage, and then they don't want to count Goldberg, but, that's a little bit iffy. But yeah, I mean, like, he would have been huge, like, if he won. And then Kevin Owens is great. Like, Kevin Owens came in and he beat John Cena clean. Like, you could just, like, wash over and, like, whitewash all the stuff that, like, the losses he's had since then, but, like, people would still buy him because he's, like, this badass who could just break you on the apron. Like, people would buy him just because of how he is. Like, he could be built like a Vader, you know what I mean? But everyone else in the tournament just wasn't built enough, in my opinion. Like, Cesaro is someone I love, and I would love to see him be the champion, but, like, he's been booked so inconsistently recently, where he even jobbed to Big Show, and then Big Show jobbed to Lesnar. Like, there's no purpose behind it. It's just, like, Ziggler, I just feel like WWE has been so inconsistent with how they book Ziggler. They've jobbed him so much that even if he's very talented, I just don't see him becoming the champion. Like, and if he does, it won't be for a while unless he catches a lot of fire under his ass. But, I mean, there's just so many better picks than Sheamus for champion, and literally everyone else in that tournament would have been better.
And I think that's the thing. Well, I guess you can say we disagree there. I don't think anybody else in that tournament would have been better. And I was going to argue that even though we really, really don't like Sheamus, and Sheamus was an awful choice, there's actually not that many other picks currently floating around the roster that would make some kind of sense. Like you said before, you love Cesaro. I love Cesaro. He looks great in his matches, but he's losing a lot of them. So I think Cesaro could be a great champion maybe in a couple months if they start giving him a big push right now and he works with it like I think he could. Like,
that's what I meant.
Yeah, Owens was iffy for me because of the way he's been winning matches lately. They've been like undermined, rake of the eyes. I mean, stuff when the referee's not looking, using the ropes, things like that, which is good heel stuff, but he doesn't look as strong as he did before. So yeah, like Del Rio and, like I said, maybe Owens were my only choices in it. Like I said, a lot of other really good names on that card who could have taken it, but not immediately, in my opinion. They need to push. But yeah, it is as sad as Sheamus is being the champion outside of the obvious Roman or Dean Ambrose. There's not a whole lot of other options the WWE had to even play with, all things considered. And real quick, I'm going to do something kind of off topic, but to throw out my opinion on Ziggler has fallen off for me really hard. Not really hard, but Ziggler's fallen off for me. I don't mind him being a mid-carder now for 2 reasons. Number one, he oversells everything a lot, and it bothers me when he does that. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it does. And number two, he really, really wants to be Shawn Michaels painfully badly, and I don't know if I'm a fan of that either. But.
Shawn Michaels mixed with Billy Gunn. Like, he uses so many Billy Gunn moves. It's just like that's the wrong person to imitate and emulate if you actually want to become the top guy. Like, don't emulate Billy Gunn. But yeah, I mean, like, I was a big fan of Dolph Ziggler as well, and it's just like, I just feel like he's never going to get above the mid-card just by the way he's been booked, like, just the way he is in general. Like, he needs, like, a John Morrison kind of repackage again, because obviously he's been repackaged from when he was, like, Nikki in the Spirit Squad, which, you know, nobody's supposed to remember, but it still happened. He was a male cheerleader, so, but yeah, I feel like we've basically run down the list, like people we feel that would be a better champion than Sheamus, you know, why we feel Sheamus really just shouldn't be the champion, because he just doesn't really have the true it factor that, you know, a top guy needs to have. Like, him having the belt is just more delay for Roman to eventually take that belt, but like they're Lex Lugerizing the situation where
They think they're building Roman up right now, and they're going to make people feel bad for Roman, and he's finally going to get it, and the moment's going to be huge. And in reality, they're making people not care more because they keep dangling in front of our faces that Roman's going to get it, and then they take it away. And eventually, you could do that with anything. We're just not going to give a shit anymore. And that's just, it's rough.
Yeah, and I just feel like, once again, if they try and have Roman, like, in a very similar situation, go into WrestleMania to try and win the belt, people are just not going to care as much. Like, either he beats Sheamus right before WrestleMania and goes in as the champion, or... like, it's still going to hurt him because it took too long for them to give him the belt, or he goes into WrestleMania, and I feel like the crowd might turn on him again, which is really, like, the WWE's fault, because, like, he was over again this time. He had the moment to be the champion. People would have bought it. Like, he went through this whole tournament. People bought it. And then they just take it away. So I just feel like they screwed the pooch on this one. Like, I really wanted to have a chance. I feel like he still does have a chance, but I feel like the way WWE is going about this, like, unless they look at that rating, they say, we screwed up, and they give him the belt, I don't know what the hell's going to happen.
And see, for me, like, where are their options to go from here if we ever want Roman to be a champion? Because our options are Royal Rumble, and you think they would have learned not to keep him as far away from that shit as humanly possible. Yeah. Or somehow work him into Mania, and in Mania we might have a Royal Rumble situation like we did last year where everybody knows it's going to happen. I've been talking with a few people, and it's been speculated that they might try to do what they did with Daniel Bryan, where even though he doesn't win the Royal Rumble, they still work his way in. Maybe Triple H Roman at Mania, and then if Roman beats Triple H, he gets to work his way into the title match. But if they do the exact same shit they did with Bryan, it's not going to go over like it did with Bryan. That's just not how that works.
I feel like they just need to give him the belt before Mania. I feel like that's the best choice.
It would be amazingly fantastic if he somehow wins at TLC and walks out with that, but that is damn near impossible just looking at the way WWE works. There's almost no way that's going to be the case if they put all their faith in Sheamus like that and just take it out from under the rug right away.
Yeah, I mean, I would have, honestly, I think that would have been great if they just built up Roman and then they had him face, like, I don't know, maybe Lesnar while he's the champion, or maybe The Rock. You know, I feel like eventually Roman, if he were champion, would face The Rock, because The Rock would want to put him over like he tried to at Royal Rumble. I mean, it's his family after all, and that would be such a big money match, you know what I mean? And I just don't know if any of that's going to happen at this point.
It's rough. Do you have any, like... I don't know. I've kind of said most of what I have, but
I pretty much, honestly, I feel like we've essentially said everything that we need to say about this. I mean, I feel like Roman would be the best pick, and there's lots of other people, like at least 3 other people that I feel like would have been a better choice than Sheamus, but end of the day, it just hasn't happened, and hopefully WWE corrects their course.
I do have a sleeper pick that I didn't talk about as much as I probably should have. I know a lot of people don't like him, and he's super rough, and Goldberg 2.0 and whatnot, but a decent push behind Ryback, I don't think would have been an awful choice either. Maybe not winning the Survivor Series tournament, but in the champion in a time of need, something about a decent push for Ryback, maybe him actually grabbing the title this time. I know a lot of people are probably going to lynch me for that one, but it's something that was there. It was kind of, I don't know, something that's toying with my eye. He's big, he's huge, he can do it. And then, kind of off topic, because he's not anywhere near championship material yet, but a Titus push. I would love to see a Titus O'Neil push. I love Titus.
I've always loved Titus, and I always was disappointed that they haven't pushed him, but, I mean, if WWE really gets behind someone who has some talent or charisma or that it factor, they can push anyone to the title. I mean, I remember when Ryback was first coming for the championship, 6 months ago, the dude didn't even exist on the roster, and he got so big so fast because they gave him the Goldberg kind of push, and then they kind of flopped with that one. So, I mean, it's really up to them who they really choose at this point, as long as they get that build off Sheamus.
And Roman is in fear of getting Rybacked or Lugerized, as it is, if he doesn't get that title soon. So let's just hope.
Let's fix that whole situation. All right, well, this has been another video that we've been doing on WWE. Let us know your own thoughts on all of this down below in the comments section. Of course, don't forget to tell us your thoughts essentially on if you think Sheamus is a good champion, or if you think that Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, or any of the people we've picked thus far would be a good champion, or maybe someone we haven't yet. And also, don't forget to check out Thundershot's channel and give him a subscribe, because his name and his channel will be down below in the description. And as I always say, stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
Agility to create his own momentum here, and it's propelling him to take control of this match. Roman uses the adage, I can, I will, as his battle cry.
And he's heading back in. I can't blame him. Nothing good is going to happen out here on the floor.
Never have so few inches seemed so far away.
This is it. This is going to be it. He's got the title. He's got the title. Think of the risk and sacrifice.
We have a new champ.